Being mayor in Waco is a volunteer position.
Waco's weak mayor form of government means city managers and other bureaucrats really run the show. You might compare the mayor and city council to a CEO and board of directors. The arrangement works well, most of the time. But when COVID hit, voters did not want to hear from an unelected person they may never have even heard of. Kyle Deaver's so-called volunteer job got the spotlight, and Deaver found himself with some tough decisions to make.
You were out front more than anybody. Why was that so important, and why did Waco have to take the lead?
We were really concerned that our hospitals could be overrun with COVID. And I know that I felt like we needed to be communicating directly with our citizens about what the risks were, what we could do to prevent further spread. And I recognize that the response to COVID became politicized, and that's really an unfortunate situation. And I hope we can move away from that. It just felt like the more transparent we could be with our citizens and the more engaged we could be with them, the better.
Mayor Deaver says he never planned on taking control of the COVID message the way he did, but he saw a void and sensed a need to be open and honest about the biggest challenge of his career and the biggest challenge of our lives.
You and Judge Blackburn and a lot of other good people in a really tough position to make calls that maybe you wouldn't normally have made.
Issuing an emergency shelter-in-place order was the last thing. I had never even considered that was a possibility for a mayor to have to do that. It was against a lot of my nature, but at the same time, it was a public health emergency. And even though it was a difficult thing to do, it was not a difficult decision.
Another controversial decision Waco made under Mayor Deaver's watch, the firing of Dr. Brenda Gray, who oversaw the huge, jointly run Waco-McLennan County Public Health District. A July 20th letter from Assistant City Manager Deirdre Emerson to Dr. Gray describes her job performance as, quote, a failure of performance standards. Dr. Gray's sudden dismissal raised a lot of eyebrows. After all, who in their right mind fires their public health director in the middle of a pandemic? But the city stuck to its guns, and Dr. Gray left. Without mentioning the Gray incident directly, Mayor Deaver calls Waco's COVID response appropriate and necessary.
Did we avert a crisis? We'll never know. I mean, we won't. And so that's part of the hard part of it too.
Now, as communities around the country struggle with the hard truth of nagging COVID infections, many say we could have a long winter in front of us. And as a new mayor and city council take office, they may review Deaver's term, its successes, and, well, its not so successes. We will too, as we conclude our so-called exit interview with Waco Mayor Kyle Deaver. At Waco City Hall, Dennis Turner, 25 News.